there's been one real storyline in the series so far between the Phils and the Marlins. No offense at all, but really good starting pitching. It began with game number 1. Cole Hamels, who's been so good all season long, was locked up against Henderson Alvarez for the 3rd time this year. Both of these guys were on top of their game. Hamels has been the best pitcher for the Phillies this year. Alvarez has been the best pitcher for the Marlins, and both showed why in game number 1. Now, Hamels worked deep into this ball game. He bent a little bit here. Ed Lucas, an RBI single, gave the Marlins the only run they would need. They added another one later on a sac fly. The Phils threatened in the 9th inning, but Steve Cishek was able to close the door. So the Marlins took game 1. Game 2, same story. Really good starting pitching. Kyle Kendrick was trying to get to 10 wins. He was trying to get to 200 innings. Now, he did allow some base runners to get into scoring position, but he was able to work out a one jam after another because he rolled a ton of ground ball outs. That was a big double play at that point because the Marlins had tied the game up. Now, Kendrick had 3 hits in the ball game. He drove in the first run for the Phils, but after the Marlins tied it up, Marlon Byrd goes the opposite way and drives in the go-ahead run to give the Phils the lead. And then Kendrick gave way not only to Kenny Giles in the 8th inning, but eventually Jonathan Papelbon in the 9th inning. Now, Papelbon had not closed since the 14th of September because of the 7-game suspension. He picked up his 38th save of the season last night. So the Phils took game 2. So now today, it's the final road game of 2014 for all the marbles. It's the 3rd game of this 3-game series between the Phils and the Marlins. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. We got them all dressed up one last time here in 2014. Little day baseball, and the Phillies have already won the season series against the Marlins, Matt. Now, that is a small prize in what's been a very disappointing season, but it's good to win these season series against your division.
Well, it is, and especially this is a young team, and they've been battling the whole year on the wild card. They've had some key injuries throughout the year. Stanton's out right now with the face injury, but as you can see these numbers right here, Phillies have won 10 compared to 8 losses, but really they're similar teams. But what I think right now is that the Marlins are a younger team. They have another year under their belt. They're going to learn from this year and come into next year with very positive. As long as they can stay healthy, these guys will go out and battle next year.
Just 24 home runs combined between the two teams. That's because there just aren't any home runs hit here in this ballpark. There haven't been any in this series. All right, today's starting pitcher is David Buchanan, making his final start of 2014. Now, David, the last 2 years, now we're including his minor league numbers from 2013 and his minor and major league numbers here in 2014. Not too shabby. He's setting himself up to battle for a job in 2015.
Well, he really is. And what I like, every time he takes the ball in the mound, he gives the team an opportunity to win. What impressed me with these numbers is the 4.40 ERA in the minor leagues last year. Usually guys that come up from the minor leagues, their ERA is going to jump a little bit in the big leagues. Even though this year in 2014 they're combined, the ERA is lower. He's going out and giving yourself a chance to win ball games. This is probably the best outing he had the whole year versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Everything was clicking. He was down the zone with a changeup, had a very good curveball. He was just pitching with a lot of confidence, and that's one thing about pitchers. When they get into confidence and a rhythm, all their pitches are working right. He had good defense behind him, but I was very impressed the way he was keeping the ball down the zone, getting a lot of awkward swings, getting the high fly balls, weak ground balls. Very good outing and a very good game plan.
I thought he pitched really well his last time out against the Oakland A's. Unfortunately, though, the Phillies managed just 1 run. He allowed 3 runs against the A's. So his final start of 2014 is just minutes away. It'll be Buchanan against Tom Kohler, who's pitched very well for the Marlins. He's making his 32nd start of the season. All right, we've got lineups, first pitch, and the final road game coming up in just a bit. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, introducing one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyattoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. 2014 season. The Phillies still have 3 more, of course, at home against the Atlanta Braves this weekend, but they'll be wearing the red pinstripes for those 3. So the Grays will be put away until 2015. Mike Redmond's team will be off to Washington after their final home game. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. It'll be Revere, Ashe, and Utley, followed by Ryan Howard, Dominic Brown in left field batting 5th. Grady Sizemore hits 6th. At the bottom third of Ruiz, Freddie Galvis, and David Buchanan. And they'll face a guy that's becoming a tougher and tougher pitcher, although his win-loss record won't tell you that because he hasn't won since the second week of August. But it's Tom Kohler, who's 9-10 with a 3.76 earned run average. Matt, a nice compliment to the rest of the starters in this Marlins rotation if you also include Jose Fernandez, who's on the disabled list this year. Well,
and Tom's he's another power arm. He has a very good arm, and what I like about him is he throws strikes, and you can see the scouting report: 91, 95 mile an hour fastball, curveball, slider change. Versus the Phillies, 18 innings pitched and only 4 earned runs this year. But he's a kid that can go deep into a game. And he's almost got the kind of the build like Nolan Ryan does. Now he doesn't have the stuff he does, but he's a big kid and he throws hard.
28 years old, out of New Rochelle, New York. He went to Stony Brook. Pretty good college baseball program. Time now for our Nissan keys to today's ball game.
Well, key number 1 for me is for Buchanan to finish his rookie season off strong. Have a good outing, go into the offseason, look forward to spring training. And Revere to get 1 step closer to the 50 stolen bases.
Yeah, he's still at 47. He hasn't really run the bases too much on this road trip. So he'll start things off hitting .307, 2 homers and 27 runs batted in. The first pitch of the day is in there for a strike. It is absolutely pouring outside right now, but the roof is closed and will be for the remainder of the day. I mean, you can't even see the buildings in downtown Miami. 0-2 to Revere. And Revere slaps it the opposite way. Echeverria has it, throws off balance. He won't get him. So Ben is aboard with a leadoff infield single. It's the second time in this series he's led off the game with an infield hit. That'll just add to his total. Ben leads the National League in singles this year, and he's behind his buddy Denard Span in hits overall. So he's aboard. Here's Cody Ashe hitting .253, 10 home runs, 45 runs batted in. All right, let's see if Revere goes early here. Ashe takes high, 1-0. They're like a McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Phyllis Aurora, Ben Salem. Phillies hit a home run in today's ballgame, and there haven't been any home runs hit in the series. And Phyllis will win $400. 1 ball, no strikes to Ashe. It looks like Revere was moving a little bit, and he has to scramble back.
Well, he should be able to get a good jump. Kohler doesn't hold base runners very well, and with Slot to Lamacchia behind home plate, he doesn't have the greatest arm. He has an average arm. So hopefully Ben can get a good jump and strike number 48.
There he goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second on the shortstop side goes into center field. Stolen base number 48 for Ben Revere. So inching even closer to the 50 stolen base mark. It is, as he said to us last week, it is a goal of his to reach 50 stolen bases, and he's getting closer.
Well, it should be a goal. It's a great number, and this is just an absolute tremendous jump. You know, high fastball up in the zone, and Salto Lamacchia had no chance of throwing Ben out at second base.
So with the count 1 ball and 1 strike, a ground ball to the right side will put Revere over third. As she's thinking about a little bit more than that, the worst case scenario. And he pops it up into shallow right center field. Hernandez, the center fielder, makes the grab. So 1 out. Phillies are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position in this series. Just goes back to what's been somewhat of a lingering problem for them for a lot of this year. Here's Chase. Chase's average is at 270, 11 home runs, 76 runs batted in. He's hit the ball hard a few times in this series, but really nothing to show for it. He walked in yesterday's game. He was 0 for 4, 1 for 8 in the series overall. And Kohler took way too much time, so Utley asked for time. Kohler's allowed 12 runs in the first inning of games so far this season. That's not a whole lot at this point in the year, considering all the starts he's made, and he's made every one of his starts this year. And a line drive toward left center field. On the run is Yelich, and he's going to take it on a hop. Revere read it and is able to score easily. An RBI single for Utley, and it's 1-0 Phillies here in the top of the first. I'll be honest with you, Matt. I thought Yelich was going to catch that ball.
Well, he was, and actually Ben got lucky because it looked like Yelich lost that ball in the lights.
That may have been it.
He kind of pulled up right there at the last second. You know, right here, and slicing back into him, and he just kind of pulls up right there and shades his eyes, and they score 1-0 now.
Yeah, right there, Ben's thinking, all right, I'm gone. But at that point, I don't think the play had fully evolved.
No.
Now Ryan Howard's the batter, and Howard swings and misses the first pitch. It's 0-1. That RBI for Utley, by the way, is his 77th of the year. First RBI on this series, or this, this series on this road trip. Inside, 1-1. Kohler's last win came on the 17th of August. His last 6 starts, he's 0-1 with an ERA of 3.50. Part of the issue has been his own. The other part of the issue is they haven't scored a whole lot of runs for him. Inside, 3-1.
It's not a very good combination.
Nope.
I'm looking around. I can guarantee Yelich lost that ball in the lights. Because usually in most ballparks you have the stands. Well, here it wraps all the way around, so every ball that's hit the outfield goes through the lights eventually.
That one's hit up toward the lights and out of play. Yeah, I think you're right. I think every ballpark has its own personality as far as the lights go. There is a bank out in the outfield. Well, there are 2 banks in the outfield, but for the most part, those are the lights that Matt's talking about where he lost it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good glare. There goes Utley. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second not in time. So Howard is struck out. And Utley has a stolen base. It's his 9th of the year. Oh, I think that's a good sign. I was surprised they didn't do it a little more often. Not that they had a lot of opportunities in Monday's ball game against the Marlins, because Saltalamacchia does struggle throwing guys out.
He does. But it all depends, too, on who's on the mound.
That's true.
Alvarez holds the ball well. And he holds a little longer, and he's quicker with the pickoff move. He's quicker to home, where today you can see 2 stolen bases already. He's pretty slow to home.
Dominic Brown is now the batter. Brown with 10 home runs, 61 runs batted in. He grounds that one softly to second. And the out is recorded. The Phillies, though, do strike first. They get a run on the RBI single by Chase Utley, who's left in scoring position. So on to the first. The Phillies won, and the Marlins coming up for the first time. 1-0 over Mike Redmond's Marlins. Let's take a look at his starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in left field, Christian Yelich. Donovan Solano bats second. Casey McGee hits third, followed by Garrett Jones. Jared Saltalamacchia is the catcher. He'll bat fifth. Justin Bour's sixth. And then it's Hernandez, Echeverria, and Kohler. And they'll face Phillies right-hander David Buchanan, who's wrapping up his 2014 season. What a whirlwind 2014 has been for David. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year that he would have an opportunity to be in the big leagues? Had a solid spring, and then eventually was called up, and now he has 112 1/3 innings under his belt, and he's done a nice job. First batter he faces is Yelich, and he delivers a strike. It's 0-1.
And there's the scouting report. 2 seamers, fastball is a curveball as well, and you see the numbers right there. But 15 straight starts, 3 earned runs or less, which is very impressive. And like you said, it's been kind of a roller coaster. Started in the minor leagues, back in the big leagues, back to the minor leagues, and now back in the big leagues. So he's doing well.
Yelich has had a good year too for the Marlins, as he's behind 1-2, hitting .290, 9 home runs, 54 runs batted in. Since the 11th of August, he has 57 hits and is hitting .345. There's a wicked curve. And that's through the hole on the right side. A base hit for Yelich. So he's aboard to start the bottom of the first. So Yelich, who had 2 hits in game 1 and a double in game 2, now has a hit here in game 3 of this series. And that'll bring Donovan Solano to the plate. Well, Solano's now played in 107 games. He was not the starting second baseman at the beginning of the year. In fact, the guy they expected to be the starting second baseman, and he was for about a week, was Rafael Furcal. And then Derek Dietrich. Well, both got hurt. So Solano, who was the second baseman a couple of years ago, well, he's just lingered around and has gotten a chance to play almost every day for a good part of the second half of the season. And a liner to left field, a base hit. Dominic Brown will cut it off. Yelich on his way to third. The throw by Brown not in time. He probably should have gone to second on that one. But now the Marlins have runners on second and third with nobody out. I guess I shouldn't overstep my bounds on that, Matt, but it just seemed like if he'd gotten to second, they would have kept the double play in order.
Tom, you're right on the nose. Whenever you're an outfielder is going left or right, especially with the leadoff hitter being on base, you know he's going to go first or third, you automatically come up and throw to second base to keep the double play out. Because right here now, all of a sudden he gets behind it, but you see the momentum's going away. Even though he makes a strong throw, there is no chance that he can throw it, especially a leadoff runner, when you have to go left or right. So in that situation, you want to see the little spin move, come up, fire to second base. Now you have first and third.
Yeah, because he would have held Solano at first. Solano was nowhere near second base as that throw went in. McGee fouls it back. It's 0-1. Casey McGee hitting .286, 4 homers, 71 runs batted in. Good numbers with runners in scoring position. The Marlins, though, like the Phillies, have struggled with runners in scoring position in this series. Change up low. I believe they scored Solano's, by the way, a single, and he went to second on the throw. I think that's good scoring. Again, I don't think he was going to second unless that throw went to third.
He hesitated a little bit around first base too.
On the inside corner, Angel Hernandez, the veteran, is behind home plate. Paul Nart is over at first. Vic Carapaz is at second. And the crew chief, Larry Vanover, is at third. Well, Mother Nature's just provided her own sound effects. Little thunder rumbling outside. And you wanted the roof open today, Matt.
Yeah, I did.
86 outside, 76 or so inside. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. He didn't bite. That's 3-2. Not a bad pitch. Fly ball center field. That should be deep enough to score Yelich. Revere's trying to get behind it. He gets behind it. The throw, though, goes to third. No, that's the right play by Revere. But we're tied up at 1. So a sac fly for McGee. It's his second one of the series. He's now has 72 runs batted in.
And you're right. He had no chance of throwing Yelich out at home plate, so he decided to go to third base on the throw, which is a proper way. And if
Solano,
I just cramped right there. If you could keep Solano at first base, and in that situation, you'd still have a way to one pitch to get a double play. That was a long cramp. I couldn't think of nothing right there. I was kind of looking to tap you on the shoulder and say I needed some help right there, Tom.
No balls and 1 strike. It's been very humid here in Miami, so I can understand how you could cramp up a little bit. Murph, was there a little altercation with that baseball coming down near you over there?
Nope. That was dove out of the way like as quickly as possible.
Dove out of the way like a champion.
That's right.
Okay, that answered my question before. Can a left-handed batter turn on it?
Yes, a left-handed batter can turn on it. I think one of the gentlemen behind Murph was saying, okay, that answered my question. Can a left-handed batter turn on a ball? Yes, he can, sir. No balls, 2 strikes to Garrett Jones. Two-seamer didn't come back. It may have been a little high also. It's 2-2. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jones. More dangerous against right-handers during his career than lefties, which is why he's in there. There was a little daylight as Galvis was creeping in, but Solano was back easily. And a line drive base hit into center field. Rounding third, heading for home is Solano. So the Marlins will take the lead here in the bottom of the first. It's 2-1. RBI single for Garrett Jones. That's his 54th RBI of the year.
He tried to do that front door sinker. The problem is he kept it, this might sound weird, but he kept it down in the zone. And this ball right here is very easy for a left-hander to react because it's down in the zone. And it's a natural swing to going down through it. Ball up in the zone, that's what it freezes you when it starts at your elbow. And we all know that a dangerous spot for left-hander is down and in.
And it seems like every left-hander, you know,
yes.
Down and in for lefties. Right-handers, it's much different sort of happy zone, as they call it.
Yeah. Well, right-hander, I think it's up and away. That's when they didn't have that chance of throwing that top hand, and
boom.
That's your dominant hand. Now for a left-hander, you're just pulling through the zone, pull the bat to the barrel, or the barrel to the ball, and usually a lot of good things happen.
Well, there's a nice changeup by Buchanan. It's no balls and 1 strike to Jared Saltalamacchia. Marlins have a couple guys that are among the league leaders in grounding into the double play. Casey McGee is the leader in the National League. Fly ball right center field, and Revere coasts over, makes the catch. Yeah, there are 2 outs. Justin Bour's coming up. Well, David Buchanan's allowed 2 runs here in the first inning. It hasn't negated what has been a solid rookie campaign for him. And Ryan Sandberg, with our Geico quote of the day, is a guy who definitely competes for one of the jobs next year with what he's shown. The experience he's gotten this year will go a long way with that. He's been pretty consistent with competing and giving us a chance to win. Those are all pluses for him going into the winter. I think every manager would take 3 runs or less.
Oh, yeah.
You would think for most of those games your offense would be able to outscore 3 runs or less. Chopper right side. Utley comes charging in. So the Marlins do score 2. Sac fly by McGee. RBI single by Jones. They take the lead. We'll go to the second with the Phillies trailing it 2-1. They'll begin a 3-game series against the Atlanta Braves. 7:05 first pitch tomorrow. Same with Saturday. It's Goya Latino Family Night at Citizens Bank Park. Check out Phillies.com for what's going on at the Yard that evening. And then Sunday is Fan Appreciation Day. Great giveaway. It's the Fathead, which includes the 2015 schedule. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. So Sammy talking in between innings with Dominic Brown, and then the conversation was passed on to Tony Gwynn Jr. a few moments later, and Tony was emphatically saying some things to Dominic too. And it's all about that ball that was hit to his right, where he threw to third instead of throwing to second, and Solano was able to advance to put 2 runners in scoring position. I mean, Sammy's worked hard with these guys, and he's been as frustrated as anybody when they've made mistakes. He's worked with Revere to try to gain some arm strength. He's worked with Dominic. 1 ball 1 strike to Sizemore, who hits one off the hands. Up loop out towards center, and Echeverria glides under it to make the catch. 1 away. Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Well, Murph, let me be the first to let you know that this is the final road game of the 2014 season. I just want you to be up to date on that so you can just wrap up the season for us with some numbers.
I was aware of that, Tom. Game 81 on the road for the Phils this year, and the Phils for the second straight year will finish with a record under 500 on the road. It has been a struggle. If you look at the numbers, a batting average of 245, ERA over 4.09, and scoring just 3.5 runs per game. So there you see it over the past couple of years. Back in 2012, 41 game over 500, but then last year a real struggle for the team on the road. They have improved certainly this year. 6 games better at this point. Could be 7 games if they were to win today. But it's been a struggle at home and away over the past couple of seasons, and the numbers bear that out. The Phils will obviously look to change that going into next season. But I think everybody at this point is looking forward to kind of getting off the road and finishing the season back in Philadelphia.
Yeah, this was a long road trip at the end of the year for the Phils. It included an off day down here in Miami and 7 games on the West Coast in San Diego and Oakland. They had played, as you guys know, they had played pretty well on the road up until, what would you say, about August 1st or so, when they started to struggle a little bit more on the road? Yeah, certainly at the beginning of the season they were winning lots of games on the road and not winning many at home, and they were able to kind of change their fortune in the second half of the season. But unfortunately on both sides of it, they started losing on the road but winning more at home. So it all adds up to a season where you're going to finish with a losing record again. But you've seen some good things at the end of the year. You just got to hope they can build off of that. Well, last night Kyle Kendrick gave them the victory with 7 innings, 2 strikeouts, 6 hits. Prove his record to 14-3 against the Marlins. Kyle finishes with 199 innings. Now, he did share with us, I think he shared with the writers too, that they did say that maybe he can pitch an inning or 2 this weekend against the Atlanta Braves. But Kyle said, you know what? I've gotten to 199 innings as a starting pitcher. 200 innings would be great, but I'd rather do it as a starter. So he thanked them for that. It still may happen, but he said he would prefer to just keep it the way it is right now.
He has the choice if he wants to pitch out of the bullpen or not.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. I guess what he was saying is he just doesn't want to do it just to get to that number.
Right. No, and you know what? I agree with him. He's been a starter the whole year, and he got to 199 innings, and leave it at that. Yeah, it's great to have 200, but now you're going to go in the bullpen, take an inning away from somebody else.
No balls, 2 strikes to Galvis with a runner at first, 1 out here in the second. There goes Ruiz, swing and a miss. Saltalamacchia's throw to second is in time. The tag by Echeverria as Ruiz was stumbling to the backside of the bag. So strikeout, throw out, double play. So 2 strikeouts for Kohler in this ball game. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. Carlos tried to get around the tag, but Echeverria did get a piece of him. And Vic Carapazza was right on it. They'll get you ready for the Eagles 49ers ball game. including the relationship between Chip Kelly and Jim Harbaugh, two successful college coaches in the Pac-12. Watch Quick Slants on Comcast Sportsnet. Andrew Luck was saying the other day in preparation for the Eagles game that he drew, and so did Pep Hamilton, the offense coordinator for the Colts, that they both drew on their experience at Stanford when preparing for Chip Kelly's Eagles squad. And you figure that, from the Eagles standpoint with the 49ers, that Chip Kelly would do the same with Jim Harbaugh and the Niners. The style is similar offensively for the Niners. Kike Hernandez leads it off. 2-0 to Hernandez.
See, the Eagles are a 7-point underdog versus the San Fran this week.
I think part of that's just because they're going out to San Francisco. I think it's a very even game. The Eagles are playing even better than the Niners right now too. Fly ball left center field. It's not deep. Dominic Brown and Revere both commit, and Revere takes charge. 1 out. And that'll bring Echeverria to the plate.
I think it's very important for tonight's game for David Buchanan to establish his changeup from here on in, because him and Kendrick, ball moves pretty much the same. Kendrick doesn't throw as many changeups. But I think it's almost like you're facing now going in. You faced Kendrick yesterday for 7 innings, and now you're at the bottom of the second. So it's the same arm slots, the same velocity, same type of movement. I just think he has to start mixing in more changeups.
Toward the hole, Galvis gets to it, flips it over to first. Not enough on it. He did a nice job getting to it, but it's an infield hit for Echeverria. And a 1-out single. They'll bring Tom Kohler to the plate. I think it's a good point, and I think even moving forward, if let's say they're together again in the rotation, there may come a time where the staff doesn't back the two of them up.
Well, and that's the thing, they wanted to break up Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels. So when you have 2 lefties and 3 righties, you can break everybody up. So
Kohler squares, takes low.
I remember in Kansas City one year we had 5 left-handed starters. 5.
Did you really?
Yeah. If you give me a few minutes,
I was going to say, can you name all of them?
Big Sweat was one of them. Dennis Reyes.
Dennis Reyes.
My man can sweat in a
That's
fridge.
a fair ball. There's 1 and there's 2. Carlos Ruiz reacting quickly. Angel Hernandez was right on it. You can't review that. He could ask for help. Hernandez is saying it was right in front of the plate. Phillies are holding the defense, but that's nothing that they have to hold. Take a look.
Did the ball hit him? Oh.
Can't tell where he fielded that ball, if he was behind home plate or not, but it did go backward. Carlos looked like he was just above the plate. It's awfully close. And then Freddie Galvis realizing, well, this is in play. We can turn 2. And that's what the Phillies did. We'll go to the 3rd. Time now for the Jeep Stuff the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, which two pitchers hold the Marlins franchise record for most shutouts in one season? Answer will be revealed a little later on. Well, the Clevelanders packed on this final home game for the Marlins. All right, we've got a better look at the play that ended the bottom of the second inning, and the Phillies got a break here. Walk us through it, Matt.
Well, foul ball. I can't, if anything, I mean, he catches the ball behind home plate too. He's 3 feet from being in fair territory. I think what happened was Angel Hernandez put his head down when he was checking the feet and not looking where he caught the ball. So,
and again, it's not reviewable, right, that particular play. Now, that could be one that they add next year, and if they did, they probably would have seen that great shot right there that we just showed you, and they would have called it foul, put the base runner back at first, and brought the pitcher back toward home plate. But we go to the third. Phillies down 2-1. David Buchanan will take a strike. It's 0-1. David is 2 for 29 this year. I think if we look closely, I don't think he's using Ryan Howard's bat, because as Kyle Kendrick told Murph last night, right, Murph, he said that he and Cole Hamels both were using Ryan Howard's bat the last 2 days, and they both picked up a couple extra base hits along the way. I don't think that's Ryan Howard's bat right there.
I'm trying to figure out why David wouldn't use Ryan Howard's bat.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Cole Hamels got a hit with Howard's bat 2 nights ago, and then last night Kyle put on an offensive explosion, 3 hits, including that extra base hit, drove in a run, using Ryan Howard's bat as well. So
I wondered if they had told Howard that they were using his bats.
Well, Kyle said after the game he was going to ask Ryan to sign it. He was. I think he was serious.
Or maybe that's why David's not using it.
Yeah, maybe. It's now part of Kyle's collection.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Two pitch to Buchanan. Outside, 3-2.
I didn't like anyone using my bat because there wasn't a whole lot of hits in them, and I didn't want to pass them out. So if I'm Ryan, I'm going to say, you know what, give me that bat back.
Let me have the extra base hits.
You go get the R161 that pitchers should use because the handle's about as big as the barrel, and concentrate on laying bunts down or throwing shutouts.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Buchanan. And he loops that foul out of play. This will be the 10th pitch of this at bat to David Buchanan. And low, ball 4. David was waiting a little bit. He wasn't sure how to react on that one. So that's the first walk of the day for the Phils. And he's getting some instruction from Juan Samuel. The Phillies are walking, and Independence Blue Cross wants to remind you to get active and get walking too. Independence Blue Cross. Live. Veer reached on an infield hit his first time up, and then came around to score his 70th run of the season.
By the way, those 5 left-handers was Dennis Reyes, Brian Anderson, Jeremy Efeld, Darryl May, and Jimmy Gobble.
Would never have thought of Jimmy Gobble.
He was the number 5.
Or Darryl May.
Darryl May came back from Japan. First 2 lefties did all right. The third lefty, not so good.
Who's that, Jeremy Efeld?
Well, just in the line, the way it was set up. You know how we talked about splitting pitchers up. I think the White Sox had 40. I could be wrong. I think that like 40 some home runs against us that year.
Oh man. Yeah, that's not successful.
No.
Inside, 1-2. Was that the plan going into the year that you would have 5 lefties, or that just?
I think that's the way it worked. I can't remember if we had a right-hander that year.
You probably did at some point, but
yeah,
not for the long period of time that those guys were in there. Revere lines it to second, and then Buchanan will go back to first. So 1 out. The most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day, and much more. Get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store. Visit MLB.com. Well, if you had that app today, then you would have learned that the San Francisco Giants are going back to the postseason. They've already finished their game today. That one is spun out toward third. Could be 2. There's 1 and 2. Second double play turned by the Marlins. 5-4-3. Phillies go down quietly in their half of the third. So bottom of the third, Marlins up 2-1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Delaware Valley Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shophonda.com. Marlins Park. This was the former site of the Great Orange Bowl, which when they knocked it down, obviously had seen it better days, but for a long period of time was an outstanding football venue. Once the press box started leaking a little bit, though, it was time for it to move on. No balls, 1 strike to Yelich. He singled and scored his first time up. That one's back to Utley. And there's 1 out. We'll take a look at our Mazda leaders and rookie starting pitchers. The guy at the top, 22 starts, Jacob deGrom, has been shut down. David Buchanan now with 20 starts is third. deGrom is probably going to win. Well, shouldn't say probably. He's probably the odds-on favorite right now to win the Rookie of the Year award. Up until about a month or so ago, I think people thought that Billy Hamilton would be the guy that would win the Rookie of the Year award, but his numbers have dipped, even though he's had a decent first full year. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike to Donovan Solano.
It will be interesting to see that the MVP voting. It's going to be interesting.
Freddie Galvis comes charging in, scoops it up. Solano hustling. He throws him out. And there are 2 outs. Well, last night Clayton Kershaw won his 21st ball game. I do believe he's going to win the Cy Young Award, but is he going to win the MVP? Well, the last 5 pitchers to win the Most Valuable Player Award: Verlander, Eckersley, Clemens, Willie Hernandez in '84 for the Tigers, and then Raleigh Fingers for the Brewers in '81 when they went to the World Series. I mean, there is a very good chance that Kershaw speeds past McCutchen and Giancarlo Stanton and wins the award. I still think Stanton's going to win it. There are a lot of people that think that McCutchen's going to win it. Some people won't give it to Kershaw because they think it's a position player award, an everyday player award. One ball, 1 strike to McGee. Fly ball to center field. Revere has to retreat a little bit, but makes the catch. A 1-2-3 3rd inning. So Buchanan allowed 2 runs in the first, and that's it so far. Time for the 4th inning. The Phils look to get some offense going when we come back. For the Phillies head home for a 3-game series against the Braves. Want to make a great save? Drive down to WB Mason's What a Bargain for amazingly low prices on new and slightly used office furniture, equipment, and supplies. You'll be the office MVP. Visit whatabargain.com. Chase Utley leads it off here in the 4th. It'll be Utley, Ryan Howard, Dominic Brown. Utley singled home the run for the Phils. 77 RBIs now for Chase. No balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch. It's 0-2.
We talked about the MVPs with McCutchen, Stanton. Posey's having a very good year as well.
Yeah, he is. Some folks have talked about, the WAR category and how important that is for a lot of players. There's some other names that aren't even in the mix of conversation where the WAR is very high, like Jonathan Lucroy, although they're out of the race, and Russell Martin. The debate is going to be for the voters. Am I going to pick a pitcher, or do I have the theory that it has to be a position player? I mean, I honestly think it's going to come down to that with a lot of guys and gals that are doing the voting. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chase, because you figure Kershaw is going to walk away with the Cy Young Award, so they feel like that's the award for a pitcher.
Right.
I don't know how you view that or not. And the position player would get the MVP award. But there's no denying Kershaw has had a wonderful, wonderful year. 21 wins.
Well, the bottom line is the MVP is the most valuable player. It does not mean if your team is in first or in last. It does not matter.
Or whether you're a pitcher or a position player.
Exactly.
3-2 pitch to Utley. And a call, strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Kohler. Now, one thing that may hurt Stanton is the fact that the Marlins are below 500, not in the race. Now, these are the only 5 players, the only 5 times, I should say, 4 players, 5 times that a MVP has been awarded to a player on a less than 500 team. A-Rod being the last in 2003. Andre Dawson, who we saw here the other day, he's always here during batting practice with the Cubs.
But to me, it doesn't matter if you're on a winning or losing team. If you're putting up the best numbers, if you walk in that batter's box and you are the best hitter in the league, you're putting up the great numbers, and if you're on a team that's, I don't care if you're 100 games under 500, if you're the best player, you get the MVP. It should not matter if you're with a winning team or a losing team.
Swing and a miss. Howard has struck out, 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kohler. All right, now I may be talking myself out of Stanton winning it, but if you are, let's say, Andrew McCutchen, now you've missed time just as Stanton has now missed time. You've basically have helped the Pirates get to the postseason for a 2nd straight year.
Right.
Stanton was putting up unbelievable numbers. Now the injury stops him 2 weeks shy of finishing the season and putting an exclamation point on the season. And then you have obviously Kershaw, who, if he doesn't win 21 games, where do the Dodgers get those other 21 wins?
And exactly, and there's a good argument for everything. I mean, offensively, who's the best offensive player in the National League? Stanton is.
Right.
I think,
because
of his numbers.
This year.
Right, this year. But should the numbers, because he's missed 2.5 weeks, affect him for getting votes for the MVP? No. If he deserves it, he should get it.
Yeah, I still think, it's my opinion that he's going to win it, but I think there are a lot of people that the case for Kershaw and for McCutchen is building as the season winds down. ChevyDealer.com. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. Bottom of the fourth inning here in Miami. David Buchanan so far has allowed just 4 hits. He's allowed a couple of runs. One of those runs came off the bat of Garrett Jones, an RBI single his last time up. Up high.
And one of those runs came from D. Brown throwing to the wrong base and not getting the double play in order.
Yeah, that was Jones's ball or Jones's hit that scored that run. That ball was hit well to right center field. Long run for everybody. It is off the top of the wall. Played well by Revere, but Jones is still pulling to second, so he's a single and a double. 32 doubles this year for Garrett Jones. And that's the first extra base hit of the day.
And this is supposed to be a fastball weight. You can see where Chooch is set up, and look how far he has to reach across his body, and it ends up in that happy zone for the left-hander, and unfortunately the State Farm is in the ballpark. He missed his target by about 16 or 17 inches.
Saltalamacchia flied out to center his first time up.
That's where Jones is probably thinking at second base. And my first at bat, I hit a missile up the middle, fastball inside. Why would they come in there again after I hit a ball off the wall? Now when he realizes how much or how far he missed the target by, then he's going to start looking out over the plate again.
Line drive caught by Galvis. Freddie was kind of roaming around out behind second base. He started on the shortstop side, not deep onto the shortstop side. But as the pitch was coming in, he was kind of floating around. So at a Major League Scoreboard, game 1 of a day-night doubleheader. The Mets have defeated the Nationals 7-4. Nationals have a 2-game lead over the Dodgers for the best National League record and home field advantage throughout the National League part of the playoffs. Nationals have a day-night doubleheader today, a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. Hang with them.
That's where it's going to get interesting to see what they're going to do. Matt Williams, how he's going to form his starting rotation going into the playoffs. Now, is it going to be that big of important to go ahead and get home field advantage, or more important to set your rotation and saying, okay, we're going to start with Strasburg or Pfister or Zimmerman or whoever first game?
Yeah, I think the way all those guys are pitching right now, including Gio Gonzalez, I think he can just let it play out. I think he wants Strasburg to be game 1 starter, which is the smart decision.
Right.
But
I don't think they have excuse me, Tom. I don't think they have a number 1 guy. I think they have like 5 number 2s. Because no one's really stepped up and took that ball and said, I'll be that guy that you can rely on to get wins every time.
Well, 1 pitch to Bohr, and he rips it foul. Wow. It's like a Matt Stairs swing right there. 0-2.
Well, hitters that have open stance love the baseball inside. They want the curveball, they want the fastball inside because their hips are already open, and you just allow to have the outer part of the plate.
Good conversation with Buchanan and Ruiz. Chopper through the hole on the left side. The shift had him pulling the ball. That one was left out over the plate, and he just punched it right where Galvis would normally be. In fact, Jones, he thought Galvis was there.
Well, they're going to break right here. Bad base running by Jones.
Because he didn't know where he was.
Exactly. You should always know where your infielders are and your outfielders are. And that's actually a very easy ball to score on right there.
First to third. Hernandez the batter. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. This could be two. Utley's got it. Flips to second for one. Galvis was just making it look so easy at second base. A 4-6-3 double play. So the Phillies have turned two. The Marlins have turned two. We'll turn to the fifth with the Phils down 2-1. Top of the fifth inning, the Phillies trail it 2-1 to the Marlins. Final road game of 2014. Along with Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. Jamie will be back with us tomorrow at Citizens Bank Park. All right, Murph, let's continue with our Instagram photo contest with the Phillies fans.
Well, that's right, Tom. We started yesterday. The Phillies and Comcast Sportsnet asking you to post your pictures on Instagram showing your Philly pride and your Phillies pride. And we're going to pick a couple to show you every day. How about this one? A great photo of the Philly fanatic and Mom Phoebe, maybe celebrating Mother's Day on that day. This young lady, she cannot believe that she has that good a seats, I'm thinking. That's the face that we're seeing right there.
Wow.
How about a picture-perfect night looking at the rooftop at Citizens Bank Park, a beautiful night.
That picture should be framed.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. And, well, a fanatic in training as well, rocking the fun glasses, the Fanatic fun glasses. But today's winner, well, how about this one? It comes from Abe Links. And I'm guessing that's father and daughter. Daughter showing a little bit of personality. Dad blowing her a kiss. So that is today's winner. Today's winner gets 4 tickets to a game in 2014. And we'll continue to do this. 2015. Yeah, I'm kidding. This season would be over. So 2015, 4 tickets to a game next year for all the winners. We'll continue this throughout the weekend. So post your pictures on Instagram, and maybe you'll have a chance to win those 4 tickets, guys. You got to use the hashtag THXPHANS. Thanks, fans. So THXPHANS.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Boy, that picture of the Budweiser rooftop with the bell and the sun setting, that's a beautiful photo. There's a fly ball to left center field. Playable for Hernandez. Take a look at this picture again. I'll tell you, this one should be framed. That's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that's well, it's a beautiful ballpark, first of all.
Yeah.
Especially with the sunset going down. Very nice.
Carlos Ruiz will be the batter. Carlos takes a strike. It's 0-1. One ball, one strike to Carlos. He singled his first time up. Phillies with 3 hits, one of them from Ruiz. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. High fly ball, playable out in left field. Well, this ballpark is just holding everything in this series. At this point, we're going to give away $500 this weekend in the McDonald's home run jackpot. 2 outs. Freddie Galvis is coming up.
Sorry, Tom. Now I know they've talked about moving the fences in New York again.
Yeah.
Have they talked about this ballpark at all?
Not that I've heard or read.
No.
I think this ballpark plays fair. I know that we haven't seen home runs in this series. I don't know. I don't mind this ballpark.
If you're a pitcher.
Well, I guess that's true. You're in that neck of the woods. This would be a little. Although you would pepper the the right field corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, I mean, you go 335 to 392 in the right field gap. Quarter of a mile to center field.
I have faith in you, though. I think you get a quarter of a mile. I think you could put it into the second deck down the right field line. Yeah, that's a shot right there out to that well. 418 with the high fence. One ball, 2 strikes to Galvis. Swing and a miss. Phillies go down in order. And for Kohler, he's now retired 8 consecutive batters. Picks up another strikeout. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Miami. Of good citizenship, brought to you by Citizens Bank. Did you know that the Red Goes Green team can be seen at every Phillies home game collecting recyclable plastic and aluminum bottles throughout Citizens Bank Park? For more information on volunteering for the Red Goes Green team, visit Phillies.com/Red Goes Green. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. Last of the fifth, Echeverria leads it off. No balls and one strike to Danny Echeverria, who reached on an infield hit to the hole at shortstop his first time up. Reaches out, pokes it toward left center. I don't know how he was able to get the bat on the ball with that one. That pitch was sort of cutting outside off the plate. So he picks up his second hit of the day.
Well, after I show it, we talk about this, how far this ball's outside. The reason why he's been able to get to it is because guys don't throw inside enough. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
You started looking out over the plate. You can dive and you can cheat. Stand some people up, keep them honest. All of a sudden now that outside corner looks a mile away.
That one's bunted foul. This is definitely a foul ball, and it's 0-1. The ball may have gotten a piece of Ruiz. I don't think it got a piece of Hernandez, the umpire. That one ran up a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike. And he bunts it back toward the mound, fielded cleanly by Buchanan. Sacrifice is successful for Kohler. 1-4 on the putout. Well, reminder this Saturday, excuse me, when the Phillies take on the Braves, it's Goya Latino Family Night at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies will host the Braves at 7:05. And we're encouraging fans to bring donations of Goya food products. The food drive will benefit Phil Abundance by helping with their effort to help families in need with the Latino community. Goya Foods is once again pledged to donate a minimum of 5,000 pounds of food to match the collected food products. Here's Yelich, who's 1 for 2. Outside and high, 1-0.
Yelich kid, he has a nice swing, and the ball jumps off his bat.
Now they can keep him in the leadoff spot if they want to. There's a chance, though, that they could also move him down to the 3-hole if they want to.
That's what I'm thinking. Eventually, he's going to be a very good 3-hole hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball foul, and it's 1-2. That'll wake Murph up, so let's bring him in and talk about Christian Yelich, that foul ball.
That's 2 today. We're just trying to get back home without getting injured.
That guy wanted behind you? That guy?
No, it hit right next to us.
Oh, okay. So what about Christian Yelich?
Let's talk about Christian Yelich, because, you know, when you stop and think about the conversation of good young players, really good young players in baseball, I'm not sure that Christian Yelich comes to mind for most people. You know, you think of your Giancarlo Stantons, and you think of Trout and Harper and guys like that. But if you look at his numbers this year, for players under the age of 23, so young players, he leads in runs and hits and stolen bases. He's second in doubles, second in RBIs, and he's tops in all of baseball, all left fielders in baseball, in fielding percentage. So he's able to do it all. And, you know, talking to some of the folks here part of the Marlins organization, they are just really, really excited about what they've got. You know, you look at that young outfield that they've got here, and it's really terrific, but he is a big, big part of it.
I agree. And I think the fact that he could bat lead off, second, third, I mean, anywhere in this lineup is a huge asset for them. I think the other thing is his defense in left field. I think he's been very good in left field, what we've seen. Well, Yelich in left, Ozuna in center, Stanton in right. They seem to have stabilized the outfield here in Miami. Donovan Solano's the batter. Change up on the outside corner, 0-1.
Now, depending on how long Stanton stays here in Miami, that's another question.
I think he's going to stay.
You think so?
I really do. I think that he's, you know, he'll stay. I mean, they could change their mind and do an about face. I think he's going to stay. Whether they could pay him or not, I don't know.
Then he won't stay then.
Well, that's it. David's arm slot's a little off kilter right now.
Yeah, and he's kind of overthrown his fastball and his cutter. The only pitch he hasn't been overthrown is his changeup.
He's had a good changeup today. He's scattered 7 hits now through 4+ innings. That was awfully close. But he's kind of leaking out there, so Angel Hernandez has watched a bunch of pitches kind of go off the plate. Casey McGee's on deck. Fly ball down the right field line. Sizemore will give it a look, but it's out of play. And it remains 3-2.
One thing David does, especially this is the third time through the order, is he gets away from the fastball a little bit. Usually the first time around he's about 50%. Gets down to about 42% of the time he throws fastballs, but he starts throwing more curveballs and changeups. And I'm not sure if that has something to do with maybe hitting a wall a little bit and getting tired and start mixing in off speed, but and like you said, he's had a very good changeup tonight, or today/tonight, and good time for a changeup right here. Get maybe a 5-4-3 double play.
Runners go. Pitch is hit sharply to short, caught out of the air by Galvis. He'll just step on the second base bag. And again, a double play helps the cause of David Buchanan. Boy, I'll tell you what, that could have been a triple play if they had the runners going with nobody out the way that ball was hit. Phillies pitcher of the year is without question Cole Hamels. The ace of the staff started the season a few weeks late, but definitely made up for lost time in a hurry. He's been solid all season, and since the All-Star break, he's been as dominant as any starter in the game. He will definitely post the best ERA mark of his career and is just 3 1/3 innings shy of reaching his 6th 200-inning season. Cole's been fantastic, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Cole has been fantastic. He'll get a start on Sunday at Citizens Bank Park. That's worth the price of admission alone, is to come and watch him and the Phils battle the final game of the 2014 season. 1:35 first pitch. Hamels trying to get to 10 wins. David Buchanan is trying to get to 7 wins. He trails at 2-1 as we start the 6th inning here in Miami. Problem is that Tom Kohler, boy, he's been solid today. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits. His only walk has been to Buchanan. One ball, 1 strike.
Fourteen pitches that Buchanan has seen already today. I guess you can call it tonight.
About 20 minutes you can call it tonight, I think. 25 minutes. 6 o'clock in the East.
Yeah, but see, I'm on the Atlantic time, so it's 6:30.
Down the right field line, Jones will try to track it, and it's out of play. 3-2. Now, technically, because the game started at 4, it's a day game throughout. That's according to Elias, official statistician of Major League Baseball.
I'll have an argue with him.
Oh, how about this? A line drive down the left field line. It is off the wall. And Buchanan is speeding to second, and he's got his first extra base hit. His first major league extra base hit. And he's in scoring position to start the 6th.
You know, see, now I have the pitchers figured out because they hit the flares to right field, then all of a sudden they get the fastball inside. As you'll see right here, it's a fastball inside up, and just gets the barrel to it and drives it to left field off the Bacardi sign. Good sign to hit, by the way. It's a nice swing.
It's a great swing. So maybe it's not all about Ryan Howard's bat. It's just about being a pitcher. Here's Revere. Corners pinch in. He's not buttoned. Marlins think that he's playing possum here a little bit. They're still playing in on the corners. And a line drive base hit to right field. Buchanan will hold up at 3rd. So back-to-back hits now for the Phils here in the 6th inning. Ben Revere 2 for 3. Ben now with 159 singles. It's the most since Pete Rose had 159 back in 1979. And Chuck Hernandez is going to head out to the mound. It's also 181 hits now for Ben, as he keeps on closing in on his buddy Denard Span. Tonight at 10, the player with more hits than any in Phillies history, Jimmy Rollins, shares his memories on the Hall of Fame career of Derek Jeter. That's tonight on Chevrolet Sportsnet Central. Been a lot of tributes to Derek Jeter playing in his last home game at Yankee Stadium today, barring any unforeseen weather problems, because there have been some weather problems throughout the Northeast. There's a great interview
that Harold Reynolds did on the MLB Network with his mom and dad. I don't think I've ever heard them talk before. But they, you know, for them, they said it's hard because we've been watching him play since he was 6 years old.
Yep.
Here's Ashe with runners on first and third. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes to Ashe.
Good time for number 49 right here. Go quick pitch.
Yeah, Revere's already stolen 1 base. He's at 48 steals. Buchanan's over at third. Quick toss over. By the way, Revere has taken over the National League lead in hits. Span Bernard Span came in with 180. They've already played 1 game today in Washington. And if everything I read earlier today was correct, he wasn't going to play. One ball, 1 strike to Ashe.
Oh my.
What are you thinking down there, Murph?
Resigning? That one was smoked.
Yeah, that was hit our.
Yeah.
Did it hit your own?
I don't think it did. It hit anybody? It hit the, you know, it hit the net right in front of us. It would have hit John or I.
Murph making friends down there. A bloop off the third base bag. And there's 1 out. Murph sitting down in the dugout. And just in front of, there's John Nicholas, part of the Phillies front office. And Michael Betts, who's got the gray Phillies hat with the blue Phillies logo on it. And Michael is the son of the late Claire Betts. The Phillies have been wearing the CB on their uniform all season long in honor of Claire's memory. Claire passed away this past February. And we see Michael all the time when we're down here in Florida. Great guy, great family, amazing family. And Michael's hat has the CB emblazoned on the side in honor of his mom. Runners on first and third, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Phillies down 2-1. Outside, 1-0. Dan Jennings is the lefty warming up. Seems like the Phillies are facing a tiring pitcher right now. Ground ball, foul.
It seems like he's getting a little tired, but also he's changed his delivery to home. Since Ben's at first base and he doesn't want to allow him to steal second, he's doing the quick pitch. So he's kind of getting out of his strength of having that big leg kick and generating the power, and that's why the velocity has dropped down. That's why he started throwing more curveballs. Just shows you how important it is to have speed on first base.
Off the hands, down the left field line. That'll be trouble if it's fair, and it is a fair ball, and it skips past Yelich. 1 run is in. Revere goes to third, and Utley's at second. A bloop RBI double. And the Phillies have tied it up at 2, and they still have 2 more in scoring position.
This is the one, just a perfect placement. Gets it deep. Looks like he got jammed a little bit. Nice effort right there, but he was very fortunate that Ben was not all the way to second base or a little around second base, or I think he probably could have scored on that ball.
Well, now Ryan Howard is the batter. And Howard fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1. So 2-2 game. The Phils now are 2 runs on 6 hits. They have 2 doubles in this inning. One by Buchanan, the other one by Chase Utley. David started the rally. He's added the run. Inside, 2-1. Ryan still with 93 runs batted in. He thought that curveball was high and never really got to the plate. Swing and a miss. Howard has struck out 3 times in this ball game. And now Dominic Brown will be the batter. Boy, a tough day. 3 strikeouts for Howard. Been a ton of times in Ryan's career where second and third they would have walked him.
Well, and there was also a time too where when Ryan had that first pitch to hit and he fouled it straight back, he's usually putting that ball in play.
Yeah, with a fly ball or something.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brown. Brown today is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Once to second, once to short. And he loops that one over to left center field. It'll drop for a base hit. 2 runs will score, and the Phillies will take the lead. Dominic Brown, a 2-run single, as Revere and Utley both cross the plate. It's a 4-2 ball game. A nice job picking up his teammate.
Talked about where the pitch is supposed to be located. It's supposed to be away, pulls it inside, and kind of gets jammed, fisted out to left center for a huge 2 RBI single with 2 outs.
4 hits in the sitting. The Phillies only had 3 coming in. And now Sizemore 0 for 2. He's popped out and then he's flied out. Runner goes. Pitch is chopped to first. Easy play for Bohr. 8 men come to the plate. Make it 7 men come to the plate for the Phils here in the 6th inning. An RBI double for Utley and a 2-run single for Brown has given the Phils the lead. McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Matt's still working on the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. It's cleared up a little bit outside. Roof's still closed. We begin the bottom of the 6th inning, and Buchanan will face Casey McGee, Garrett Jones, and Jared Saltalamacchia. Trying to finish up the season strong is David Buchanan. His ERA 3.76 right now. Two 2-0 to McGee. I think if he winds up walking McGee, the phone's going to ring in the bullpen.
It already has.
Actually, it already has. Yeah, the startup just started getting up. Back toward the middle, and a base hit for Casey McGee. 172nd hit of the season. All right, no more thinking, Matt. It's time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. Which two pitchers hold the Marlins franchise record for most shutouts in one season?
The D train.
All right, Dontrell Willis is correct. Yep, 5 in 2005.
Now I'm either Beckett or Burnett, and I will go with my boy Burnett.
A.J. Burnett is correct.
Yes.
2002. Also had 5. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I was going to say Pavano.
I gave that one away.
Yes,
though.
you did.
I was going to lead you to Penny, Brad Penny, because he's in the bullpen.
That's the other guy I forgot.
Yeah. No balls, 1 strike. Over to shortstop, Galvis to second for 1, and they won't be able to turn 2, but they get the lead runner. Fielder's choice, and 1 out. Saltalamacchia is coming up. There's Antonio. Bob McClure coming out to the mound. Interesting time to come out and chat with Buchanan. I think it's more to get Bastardo a little extra time out in the bullpen.
Correct.
Got a lefty in the on-deck circle. Saltalamacchia is a switch hitter. So you've got a lefty and board in the on-deck circle. Non-stop action, art, pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2014 postseason beginning September 30th.
So since this is the last road trip of the year,
yeah,
have we got the record of Jamie and I on the stump on the road compared to home?
No, I don't think so. You guys have been very good, though. You've been good on your own. You've been good with the help of Twitter and texting and Googling, but you've been good on your own. I've watched when you've written down the answers. By the way, what do you think Bob McClure was talking to Angel Hernandez about on the mound? They were having more of a conversation than McClure and Buchanan. It was a lighthearted conversation.
Tell you the truth, I didn't even see them talking.
Oh yeah, they were chatting. 1 ball, no strikes to Saltalamacchia. He's 0 for 2.
I was watching Bastardo warm up.
Buchanan trying to get through 6 here. 74 pitches. Change up low, 2-1. So that's a pretty light innings. 21 pitches in the first when he allowed the 2 runs. That one's back toward the middle. Galvis off his glove. Oh boy, just glanced right off his glove, and Jones will go to third. He almost made an unbelievable play. Shaded a step that way. But instead, the Marlins are alive with runners on first and third with 1 man down. And Bohr, who really can change the game with 1 swing, is the batter. Oh boy, that just glanced off his glove. And Ryan Sandberg's coming out. That's going to be it for David Buchanan. So I'm not going to fool around here. Buchanan's season will come to a close. His line is not complete just yet. And they'll bring the left-hander Antonio Bastardo in. So a pitching change. We'll see if the Marlins counter with something from their bench. We'll let you know that when we return.
Probably bringing Baker.
Defensive plays of the game. Well, Matt, you want double plays? We got double plays.
We got 5 of them coming. And the first one's going to be right here. The strike him out, throw him out. And a nice tag at second base, getting Chooch. And then this one here, foul ball / fair ball, double play. Nonchalant by Galvis, throw to first base. All of a sudden you come up here, 5 around the horn, 5-4-3 double play. Wasn't making some nice pitches. And all of a sudden here, 4-6-3 double play, keeping the ball down and keeping the infielders involved. And then all of a sudden now you get the missile, make it a 6U double play. So nice pitching by those guys and good defense behind them. And that is why that is the defensive plays of the game, brought to you by Hyundai.
All right, so David Buchanan's day is done. His season is complete. The 2 runners on base are his responsibility. He's going to hand things over to Antonio Bastardo with 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Bastardo has been charged with trying to keep this at a 2-run lead. And not allow any inherited runners to cross the plate here. He won't face Justin Bohr. He's going to face Jeff Baker. So Baker will pinch hit. Garrett Jones at third. And Saltalamacchia at first. Swinging a miss on a slider. It's 0-1. Garcia and DeFreitas, the two righties in the bullpen.
Good location. That's a good pitch.
May have been a little outside, but it was really good pitch with 2 strikes. Angel Hernandez had a pretty good day behind the plate. Yeah, I guess that's off the plate. You want it though as a pitcher.
It's because pitchers want every pitch.
Only 4 inherited runners have scored, while Bastardo's been out there this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a foul ball. He stays alive. It remains 1-2.
We talked about in spring training how Bastardo's tempo has been very good. Not so much anymore.
I think this is just who he is. You know, this is, they'll try to speed it up, but I think this is who he is. Good pitch. He got him to chase, and a strikeout, 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And now it'll be Kike Hernandez.
Good fastball up in the zone. Probably a ball, but too close to take, and got a big strikeout right there.
Well, Hernandez has hit into a double play. He's also flied out to center. Ruiz out to the mound. Carlos has always had a very frank relationship with Antonio Bastardo. They've known each other for so long. Fly ball, shallow right field towards foul territory. Utley is there, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Well, good job by Antonio Bastardo. He picks up David Buchanan, leaves 2 on the base paths for the Marlins. Makes the Philly fan pretty happy that they have a 4-2 lead as we go to the 7th. Here this afternoon, the Phillies allowed 2 runs in the first, but then they retook the lead in the 6th with a 3-run 6th inning. Chase Utley and Dominic Brown each have 2 RBIs here today. David Buchanan has finished his rookie campaign today with 5 1/3. He scattered 9 hits. He allowed 2 earned runs. He also doubled and scored a run for the Phils. Nice job by Buchanan. Really a solid rookie year. Where that takes him, well, sky's probably the limit. I mean, he's going to go into spring training with an opportunity to battle for a job in this rotation. He's the first one to greet his teammates after that inning came to a close, and Bastardo was able to get the last 2 outs. Here's Carlos Ruiz against Tom Kohler. So Kohler so far 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. First pitch is up high, 1-0.
Well, Buchanan finished the season with 16 straight starts, 3 runs or less.
Excellent.
And also was nice.
His ERA under 3.8 for the season. One ball, 1 strike to Carlos. And a curveball that drops in, 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So Carlos is struck out to start the 7th. 7th strikeout for Kohler. Well, it's time now for our cold hard fact. It's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. With their 2-1 victory last night, the Phillies clinched their 5th consecutive winning season against the Marlins. The last time they finished with a sub-500 record in a season against the Marlins was back in 08 when they were 8-10. They did struggle against the Marlins back in 2008.
Yeah, it didn't matter, though.
It didn't matter, Matt.
It didn't matter.
All is said and done. It just didn't matter. 1-0 pitch to Galvis. Fastball. It's 1-1. Diekman is warming in the pen. Cesar Hernandez is out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Fly ball left center field, not deep, playable for Hernandez, the center fielder. And there's 2 outs. Well, there are 2 outs here in the 7th. And that will bring Hernandez to the plate.
Well, yesterday we talked about guys improving in the offseason and things to work on. I'd like to see Freddie really concentrate on swinging down on the ball, hitting the ball on the ground, using his speed, occasional line drives.
Well, he'll get at bats during winter ball. Cesar hitting .232. 1 ball, 1 strike. Have you thought about, like most of the players, like in your mind as a baseball guy, have you thought about players like Freddie and all the other guys, what you would like to see them work on in the offseason? I know you've talked about it with some of them, but have you thought about Freddie and you thought about Cody and you thought about Revere and people like that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, no, a lot. I mean, I'd like to see Freddie be more patient. I think he's too much of a free swinger. Of course, we just talked about him hitting the ball in the air too much. I'd like to see him start working from top to bottom. And what I mean by is work on a high tee and concentrate on hitting line drives back up the middle and moving the tee down in and out and having the proper swing. I watched him in batting practice today, and he was trying to hit every single ball to left field, which I don't like seeing. I like to see them work the left center, right center. You know, Ryan Howard, I would love to see him work low tee, outside corner to get him back over top of the ball. That way he'll drive it. You know, I mean, I can sit here and talk about hitting all day. You know, I think just with Cody Ashley, for him, it's just the more experience.
Up high, 3-2 to Hernandez.
Cody has a very good setup, a very short swing, a powerful swing. I just think the more at bats he gets, the better he's going to be. Franco, stay on the ball a little longer, drive the ball to right center.
There's a line drive, base hit for Hernandez into right field, so pinch hit single. And Ben Revere will come up with 2 hits already today. He's the National League leader in hits overall. Mike Redmond not poised to make a move just yet. Ben's average at 308. His 2 hits today. It's only gone up 1 point. But 181 hits for Ben. He won't get 200, but he's going to get awfully close to that number.
He's still stuck on number 13, huh?
I mean, walks wise?
Yeah.
Yep, 13 walks, 13 doubles. Quick toss over. Runner goes, pitches hit back toward the middle, off the glove of Cole, or picked up by Echeverria. That'll be a 1-6-3 put out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Phils. Time to stretch here in Miami. Phillies leading the Marlins 4-2. To the bottom of the 7th inning, Jake Diekman is the new pitcher for the Phils. On a relief of Antonio Bastardo. Nice job by Bastardo, who went 2/3 of an inning. So now Diekman 5-4, 3.49 ERA. This is his 72nd game. 98 strikeouts and 69 2/3 innings. Ryan Sandberg was talking yesterday about his bullpen, how proud he is of all the younger guys. He's also proud that the starters this year have gone deep into games. And the Phillies find themselves among the leaders in the National League in least amount of innings pitched by the bullpen, which I was kind of surprised at when they were talking about. Bullpen's worked a lot, but not as much as other teams. Here's Echeverria, who's 2 for 2. Echeverria is 3 for 3. Single into center. And Reed Johnson will pinch hit for the Marlins.
It's a good idea starting Reed Johnson off with a slider because he loves that first pitch fastball.
Mike Dunn warming up in the pen for the Marlins. On the inside corner, 0-2.
Kind of overthrown a little bit the last 2 pitches. One up and away, and that one there decided to throw a little nasty little sinker away and just overthrew it.
Way outside, 3-2. So after jumping ahead of Reed Johnson, Diekman has now fallen behind. Yelich is on deck. Back toward the middle, and diving stop by Utley. Tried to flip with his glove, but that'll be a base hit. Now that'll put runners on first and second with Yelich coming up. Echeverria runs pretty well, so really the only way Utley could have done anything was to flip with the glove. It was going to have to be perfect.
Right there as he's flipping it, other kind of catches on his thumb, and I'm not even sure if he does make the flip right here, if he's going to get a chance to get him up there.
It would have been close, but it would have had to have something on it. Well, he did everything he could.
What he did is he also kept it first and second. If he doesn't knock that ball down or stop it, it's going to be first and third.
So now lefty on lefty. Yelich is up. Yelich is 1 for 2. He was hit by pitches last time up. He has hit well against left-handers. You just saw the numbers. He's hit well against the Phillies during his career overall. The runners lead off. Phillies set up to try to turn 2. And Yelich shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Arguably the hottest hitter in a depleted lineup for the Marlins. It's lefty on lefty. So I guess Mike Redmond's thinking, all right, I got to get guys in scoring position here. 2 guys, and I've got 1. I might think about just letting him hit. He's starting to square again. Nope, now he pulls back. Low, 1-1. And he shows bunt. It gets away from Ruiz, and both runners will move up. And a wild pitch. Now Redmond is saying that Yelich did not offer at that. Angel Hernandez is saying, no, I don't need any help. I called it a strike. I'm going to keep it a strike. I think he darted at it. I mean, he darted, then pulled it back, but I think he already had offered at it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's now isn't the rule that when you dart at it, you have to be out in front of home plate to dart at it, or you have to make a complete jab at it?
I think he made an offer at it. You know, I think he pulled it back,
right,
but I think it was already his decision had already been made. Well, but 2 runners are in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hickman has not been sharp here this afternoon. Now, he hasn't worked in a few days either. Well, that's part of it. Luis Garcia is up in the pen. That one's to third, right between the wickets. Oh, man. 1 run is in. Yelich is going to seconds. It's a 1-run game. Cody Ashley with his 16th error of the season. I don't think he was coming home. He wasn't coming home. So there's no RBI on that. Yeah, look, he was going back to third.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was just a ball hit right at him. Kind of just shot between his legs.
So Johnson's over at third. Yelich is at second. Nobody out. Bob McClure coming out to the mound. Well, they've now called it fielder's choice E5 RBI. I mean, from a bookkeeping standpoint, he wasn't coming home, so it shouldn't be an RBI. But unless you really want to get it right, it's not that big of a deal. But all right, so now it's Solano that's up in a 1-run game. I mentioned the Phillies defense really has been very good. Second in the league. Second in the league in least amount of errors. Second in the league in fielding percentage. So now Solano's up. The infield is back. Hitless recently against left-handed pitching. Overpowered. It's 0-1.
I have to watch like the safety squeeze here, like a push bunt to second base to get Reed Johnson in and get him to third base as well. You know, when I was talking about if he just lays a bunt into here, as my thing is just going crazy with the L. If you can get the bunt into here, you know, that's where you want to go with the bunt, and just that way, what it does is just sets it up, and that's if you have good bat control. By the way, I'm not really sure what's going on with that screen there, Tom.
Up high. Phillies led it 4-2 as this inning got underway. Now it's just 4-3. And still nobody out with 2 runners in scoring position for the Marlins. Phillies led it 1-0. Then the Marlins took a 2-1 lead. Phillies scored 3 in the 6th. That pitch is way inside. 2-2. Well, I think this is just one of those outings. Now, obviously, the error did not help, but Jake just doesn't seem to have command of his fastball right now. Two and two. And a line drive base hit to right field. 1 run is in. Here comes Yelich. He's being held. An RBI single. It's now a 4-4 game. Hitless in his last 15 at-bats against left-handers, and he rips a single to right. And now Casey McGee is coming up with this game all tied at 4. Casey McGee has hit it to 30 double plays this year. That leads the National League. Phillies played the infield in a little bit. There's a foul ball. It's 0-1. He's got 2 sac flies in this series alone. 72 runs batted in. No balls, 1 strike.
I'm watching Freddie and Chase up the middle, and I'm trying to figure out if it's a. They're kind of a little shallow for a double play ball.
I think it's going to be up to them. If it's hit hard enough, yeah, they may go ahead and try to turn 2. Outside. Boy, you got a good hack at that one. Ground ball, fair. Down the left field line. One run is in. Solano rounding third. He's heading home. The throw to the plate on one hop cut off by Ashe. A two-run double for McGee. And the Marlins lead it 6-4.
Slider down and in just inside the bag at third base. And Dominic Brown a long run over to the wall because he was playing in left center. But you're right, Tommy. His command is definitely not where it's been where we've seen this year.
Garrett Jones 2 for 3 today with an RBI. Still nobody out here in the 7th inning. There goes McGee. And he is out at third base. Mike Redmond coming out. They're going to have them go back and review it. McGee thought he was safe just by his body language. Maybe he was just hoping he was safe. 2-5. Caught stealing 2-5 right now. See there, it looks like he got him on the leg, but was his foot on the bag.
Right.
This is the point in the game where you don't have anything to lose if you're a manager to have them review it. And Mike Redmond's thinking, nope, they got him. So 2-5 of the put out and then one away.
He tags him right on his left knee. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there. Yep. So a 2-run double for McGee. That double is 29th of the year. 3 RBIs in this ball game. 1 ball, no strikes to Garrett Jones. And a line drive base hit to left field. I would think they're going to have to go get him. I mean, I know there's one man down. But he's getting hit and he's out of the strike zone. Here comes Ryan Sandberg. So that'll be it for Jake Diekman. They'll go to looks like Luis Garcia. Pitching change. 4 runs have scored for the Marlins. They've taken the lead here in the 7th. runs here in the 7th inning, and now the Phils go back to the bullpen. As promised earlier in the ballgame, it's time now for our AT&T fan photo of the game. This photo is coming from Spa Manfa 415. Yep, it's time for a nap. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Well, Jake Diekman not pleased as he went into the dugout. He's had an excellent year. I think that his command has been a little up and down more so over the last month or so. Here's Jared Saltalamacchia to face Luis Garcia with a runner at first, 1 out. Saltalamacchia takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Garcia's numbers, 7.94 ERA. He's been better recently. Inside. Over for strike. It's 3-1. 14 hits now for the Marlins, including 5 in this inning. Three balls, 1 strike. Chopper to second. That should be 2. There's 1 and 2. So the inning finally comes to a close, but the damage certainly is done. The Marlins have taken the lead. Luis Garcia rolls the double play ball, but 4 runs have scored in the inning for the Fish, including 2 off the bat of Casey McGee. Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery, benefits older Pennsylvanians. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Marlins are up 6-4 as we move to the top of the 8th inning. And Mike Dunn will take over for the Marlins. 75th game. He's 10-6, an ERA of 3.21. Dunn's faced the Phillies a lot. All right, so for Jake Diekman, 4 runs, 3 of those runs earned, 5 hits allowed in a third of an inning. So as Dunn finishes his warm-up tosses, let's now go down to Murph for the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, Tom, thank you. It's brought to you by Gwynedd Mercer University. And Major League Baseball announced today that Red Sox manager John Farrell is going to take over, be the new manager of the Baseball All-Star team that's headed to Japan for a 5-game series. He's taking the place of Ron Washington, who, of course, resigned as the Texas manager about 2 weeks ago. And also, we told you yesterday in the notebook that Dave Smoke Stewart was in contention for the GM job in Arizona. Well, that is now official. They have hired him to be their new general manager, the first time that Dave Stewart will be a manager or general manager in baseball. He has been an assistant general manager before. He's also obviously been a player and an agent, but that has gone through. So the new general manager in Arizona is Dave Stewart.
All right. Well, they've got a lot of young players, a lot of good young players, and we'll see if he can turn things around. Tony La Russa seemed to target him almost immediately when he took over being in charge of that front office. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cody Asche. Ashe's 0 for 3. He's flied out. He's grounded out into a double play. He's also popped out.
I think it's safe to say that no one in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization, players, coaches, will talk back to Dave Stewart.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not as intense as he was, but probably pretty close. There's a line drive, base hit toward right field. Cut off by Garrett Jones, but Ashe's on his way to seconds, and he'll get there sliding with a leadoff double here in the 8th inning. Well, the Phillies have been announcing some awards over the last couple of days, and today they announced the Dallas Green Award, which will be given out to Gordon Lakey, director of Major League Scouting. Gordon joined the Phils in 1998. Prior to that, 11 years with the Blue Jays. The award is presented to a scout who has best exemplified what the Phillies' standards for scouting are, while demonstrating the same loyalty, work ethic, dedication, and passion to the award's namesake. So I know Gordon and Dallas have known each other for a long time. So congratulations to Gordon. We see Gordon from time to time in different ballparks. It's always nice to catch up with him, get his thoughts on what's going on in the game. So tomorrow night before the game, he'll be recognized at Citizens Bank Park. One ball, no strikes to Chase Utley, who has 2 RBIs today.
One thing about Dunn is he has not lost his velocity on the heater. He can top out at 96 miles an hour and still has a nice little tight slider curveball.
I think his problem sometimes, I guess you can say this about a lot of pitchers, is when that fastball, that heater's just too straight.
Yep.
Marlins picked him up from the Braves in the Dan Uggla trade. Omar Infante came over as well. Infante has since left. And time is called. Fly ball center field. Hernandez goes back on it. Ashe tags from second, draws the throw. And there's 1 out. And Cody remains at second base. Well, if you're interested in being part of Phillies fantasy camp and you're 30 years old or older, here's some information for you. You can go to Phillies.com and check out some different facts and figures about Phillies fantasy camp, or call 610-520-3400. The dates January 21st to the 25th in Clearwater, Florida. You get hotel accommodations, plus you get a chance to practice at the Carpenter Complex, play a game at Bright House Field, get a chance to meet some of the Phil's greats, Greg Luzinski, Larry Anderson, John Kruk, guys like that. Here's Ryan Howard, who tried to check his swing, and he went around. Ryan has struck out 3 times today.
So that was a good take.
Good take. I agree with that.
Almost like he was sitting on a curveball, betting that Dunn's going to throw a ball.
The ball was fouled back and it just disappeared up into the stands. And a call, strike 3, 4 strikeouts this afternoon for Howard. Well, nobody wants to walk around with that golden sombrero. The 25th time he's had a 4 strikeout game. That's where it looked like he was thinking curveball, and he got a fastball right down the chute.
Well, and I've noticed the last couple of days that his timing is off.
Yeah.
And when he's starting his movement, it's a hair late, and the fastballs are getting on him and getting past too quick, and which makes him being out in front of the off-speed pitches because his motion is off.
Dominic Brown is the batter, so they decide to keep Brown up against Dunn instead of going to the right-hander off the bench here, whether it be Marlon Byrd or Darren Ruff. Back toward the box, flagged down by Dunn. Nice play. That'll end the inning. 1-3 on the putout. So the Phillies have a leadoff double, but they leave one in at second base. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Miami with the Marlins on top 6-4. Mason delivery of the game. An inning or two ago, we were going to pick a Phillies swing, but instead we got to go with the Marlins.
Came back in the 7th inning and the slider down and in. And Casey McGee, it's just inside the base at third base, and it's a huge knock at the 2 RBIs in the swing. And that is what your delivery of the game brought to you by WB Mason.
It gave the Marlins the lead. They have a 6-4 lead right now. He's had a pretty productive RBI series for the Marlins, Casey McGee. It's gone along with a pretty productive year. Jeff Baker, who came on to pinch hit for Bohr in the 6th inning, struck out. He's up for the 2nd time. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and one. To the left side, Ashe will cut off Galvis. Ryan Howard's able to hang on to the bag. And 1 out. And Hernandez is coming up. Kike Hernandez. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Hernandez 0 for 3. There's Cishek. He closed out game 1. The site where Luis Garcia, where his ERA jumped to where it was over 11 at one point.
Right.
He threw, gosh, it was a ton of pitches.
56.
Yeah, here on one night, and just he was biting the bullet.
56 or 46. He threw a lot. I remember that game. I was actually home watching it on TV.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Hernandez, and he fouls it toward the on deck circle. 1 and 2. .49 pitches on May 21st. Batters, and he was sweating like crazy too. And the roof was closed, but it still felt like it was warm here that night. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hernandez. Will be followed by Echeverria in the on deck circle. And it's in the dirt.
Ever since Garcia's come back up, he's thrown better. He's had those spurts where he's thrown the ball well with command and his fastball and his slider, and that's why it's so important that he showed that he can dominate AAA pitching and AAA hitters.
It was just that one outing since he's come back up where he's given up runs. He's fallen behind here 3 and 2. and Hernandez walks. And Echeverria is coming up. A lot of base runners today for the Marlins. I mean, 14 hits will do that. That's the first walk issued by Phil's pitching. There's also been a hit batter.
Yeah, that's a line you don't see very often with the Phillies pitchers. 1 walk, 1 strikeout today.
Oh yeah, 1 strikeout. It was Bastardo's strikeout.
Baker.
Yeah, particularly when Diekman's in the game.
Right.
Hernandez leads off first. Foul back. It's 0-1. Back toward the middle. Galvis will have 1 play. It's going to be at first as he's able to get Echeverria. So 2 outs. Runner at second base. Jordani Valdespin is going to pinch hit for the Marlins.
Freddie Galvis just made that play right there look routine.
Yeah, he made it look very easy.
He just comes in, charges on the short hop, umpire in the way. Gets like a little alley-oop flip to first base. Tremendous hands.
His initial break is, I think, the key with a lot of his plays. Valdespin 3 for 17 as a pinch hitter. Phillies did not see him when they were in Miami last time. They did see him, of course, when the Marlins were in Philadelphia. Former Met. Got to the point where he drove everybody crazy in New York, and they let him go, and he went up with the Marlins.
Drove him crazy as in antics or
antics, attitude, all those things. I mean, he was successful at times for them. Won some ball games for them. Became more of a distraction in the clubhouse than a help. 2 balls, no strikes. And there's ball 4. Second walk issued by Garcia in the inning. And Yelich is now the batter. Bob McClure is now coming out, I think. He just said something to Ryan Sandberg, so they'll call the pen and get somebody up. I'm a little surprised that Jimenez wasn't up anyway. You know, the Phillies have obviously another lefty available in Jimenez. You got the lefty Yelich up now. So Yelich will bat against the righty Garcia. Jimenez now is going to get up and start to throw in the pen. Inside 1-0. Runners not being held on. Valdez speed at first. And Hernandez at second. Galvis may peek in here. And it's low, 2-1.
It seems like his first time he goes out for the inning, he's strong, throwing strikes, pounding the strike zone, like he did the first time, the third inning. And then he comes up right now. It seems like he nibbles a little bit and gets away from being the aggressive pitcher of throwing strikes into the towards the barrel instead of pitching away from contact.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Now Garcia steps off. There was a lot of daylight between Galvis and the base runner. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the 8th. Bob McClure on the phone. Now you got a righty who's up next in Solano. Three and 2, so the runners will be off. You got to challenge him here. Runners go. And a chopper back toward the mound. Garcia's got it. And he flips to first. Yelich is retired. So are the Marlins. So one more chance for the Phils here on the road. Marlins lead 2. Cishek is coming in. He's got a 2-run lead to work with when we come back with the top of the 9th.
Marlins with a 2-run lead. The Phillies with one last chance. And then when this one is all said and done, this road trip will be over. The Phillies will head home to take on the Atlanta Braves, the final 3 games of the season. There's your pitching matchup for Friday night, 7:05. Irvin Santana versus Jerome Williams. Aaron Harang, the right-hander, will get the ball on Saturday, and A.J. Burnett will take it for the Phils. And Sunday at 1:35, it'll be Alex Wood and Cole Hamels looking for victory number 10 on the season is Cole. And, of course, that is also Fan Appreciation Day at Citizens Bank Park.
A lot of giveaways scheduled, Murph, for that day. There always are. For Fan Appreciation Day 2014, tickets are available for all 3 games left at home. Valdespin stays in to play right field for the Marlins, and Steve Cishek on to attempt to pick up his 39th save of the season. He's 38 of 42 in save opportunities. So Grady Sizemore will lead it off. It'll be Sizemore, Ruiz, and Galvis. First pitch is in there. It's 0-1. Grady today is 0 for 3. He's popped out, flied out, and he's grounded out. Outside corner, 0-2. Brady's streak is now at 0 for his last 19. Try to break that here in this at bat, get on base, bring the tying run to the plate. Slaps that foul again. And it remains 0-2. Cishek's been good for the Marlins these last couple of years. There's always conversations around the trade deadline that he could be dealt. A little different style closer than, most others. It's the way he releases the ball.
Yeah, but he's done a nice job this year closing games up, but he doesn't have a big contract. So why do you want to move guys who don't have huge contracts or going out and saving games?
Just backload more prospects. I'm with you on it. Grounder foul. Murph's going to get one yet. Murph's going to have a bucket of souvenirs down there in the first base dugout. One ball, 2 strikes. Held on to by Saltalamacchia, so strikeout to start the 9th. Coming up after the game, a full recap. Plus, Ricky Metallico gives his analysis on today's series finale between the Phils and the Marlins. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. Last road game of the year for the Phils. Time to head home, wrap up the regular season. Phillies will quickly turn their attention. They really already have, but turn their attention to 2015 with the hopes of making things better on so many different levels on the field. Ruben Amaro, before he wound up meeting the Phillies here in Miami, was in Japan. He was in the Dominican Republic. He was in Japan with Sal Gustinelli and also Charlie Manuel. And then they went over to the Dominican Republic to take a look at Yasmani Tomas, the Cuban defector. 1-2 to Ruiz. One of the guys they were looking at over in Japan was Kenta Maeda, who we saw in the World Baseball Classic. He throws somewhat like Cishek, but is a starting pitcher. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ruiz. And a called strike 3, 2 outs. And Darren Ruff will pinch hit for Freddie Galvis.
Fastball looked like a pretty good pitch corner. Just so hard to pick up on his release point because he can throw that slider for strikes. Usually guys who used to throw, throw submarine were just mainly fastball changeup.
Yeah, or fastball. But they didn't throw slider?
No, not very much.
Ruff hits one toward the right side, gobbled up by Solano, and the Marlins have taken 2 of 3 from the Phils. Their season series comes to a close against Miami as they lose it today 6-4, and that is a wrap on the 2014 road schedule for the Philadelphia Phillies. Kind of a disappointing way to end this road trip and their road season. They had the lead, but then a 4-run inning sparked by Casey McGee's 2-run double gave the Marlins the lead for good, and then they closed things out. They win it 6-4. Oh, a tough way to go for the Phils. They wrap up this road trip. They lose by 2. We'll be back to Miami to wrap things up right after this.